Hello, this is Peter with another video. Today I thought we'd do an update on the Musa Basjoo. As you can see, this pseudostem here flowered this year. It was I think back in May it started flowering, late May. See there's lots of wasps that enjoy the flowers on this. These are all male flowers now. The female flowers are what actually form the fruit. See those up there, and no more bananas will develop at this point. And they've been getting a little bit bigger. I don't think they're going to get any bigger than this though. They're very small fruits anyway. But yeah, it's been doing really well. Of course, this pseudostem here with the flower on it is going to die at the end of this year. Once I come to do any winter protection, I will be removing this pseudostem because it's going to be dead anyway once this flower's finished. But you can see I've got quite a few large pseudostems now. Some of them are actually taller than the original one which has flowered, so there's a good chance these others may flower next year. That's if I can keep the height over winter, which I'll be honest, I'm not sure if I can, because this one here, for example, is extremely tall now. It's even taller than the original, and it was difficult enough to protect these last winter, and they were only up to about here last year. So they've put on another maybe 2 feet or so. Yeah, maybe 60 centimeters or something like that. So they're not incredibly fast growing plants. It's just our climate doesn't allow them to grow at the usual rate of bananas in a tropical climate, but they are pretty fast growing, even here I suppose, compared to other plants we might grow. So if I step back a bit, you can see the whole clump here. As you can see, there's lots of leaves that have been damaged in the wind. We did have a storm a few weeks ago which shredded most of the leaves, but some of the newest leaves are not too bad. I mean, we've had a little bit of wind the last couple of days as well, but yeah, doing pretty well overall. The ones lower down definitely fare much better, more sheltered down here, but the wall and the house of course, but yeah, they're not getting as much wind here when they're lower down. But once they get over a certain point, they do get hit by the winds pretty badly. But yeah, it's doing incredibly well. It's absolutely huge now. I think I mentioned it before, but I'm considering not bothering protecting these this year. Or maybe I'll protect one pseudostem, maybe the largest one, the best I can, and I'll just leave the rest, because I've said it before, but it doesn't really matter if I lose some of the height, because they will grow back anyway. And even if I lost the entire pseudostem, I'm sure, so this one here has grown pretty much in one growing season. In fact, yeah, I'm pretty sure it grew from right down here this year. So the smaller ones do grow much faster actually than the larger ones in terms of height. So yeah, that one's grown really fast. And as the clump gets more mature, they definitely grow much faster than the new pups. I get a lot of questions about what I do feeding these, the Musa Basjoo and other bananas, and I have answered that before in a video I did a couple of summers ago. I think it was about 2 years ago. I'll link that video, but I have been slacking a little bit this year. I've only given a little bit of a feed here and there. I've given it some bloodfish and bone and also some chicken manure pellets, but not very often, only I think a couple of times. I haven't done it for a few months now. I just remove all the old leaves, chop them up and put them down there when they've been fully shredded with the wind. So they break down, turn into compost eventually, which will then feed the clump. I'll do a close-up of the bananas, see if I can get a little bit closer to them. So yeah, they haven't started ripening yet. I'm not sure if they will. if they don't ripen up before the end of the year, I'll just remove this whole clump, and I'll bring it inside and see if any of them start to ripen. They're not particularly edible from what I've heard of other people's descriptions, but I'll give it a go if I can get them to ripen. I know the flower can be used, but it's pretty small now. I mean, it looks big here because I'm zoomed right in. I'll put my hand near it, you can see it's actually quite small. I won't get too close because there's a few wasps on there. But yeah, as the flower has progressed, it gets smaller and smaller. Some people do chop them off. I haven't bothered because I just like the look of it with the flower on. So yeah, it's done really, really well. I'll have to check back exactly, but I think it's been in the ground for about 4 years or something now. I think it was 2021 I planted it. And yeah, it's now the end of August 2025. Although it was in a container for a few years before that. Although in saying that, it did die back a couple of times in the pot. So I basically started from scratch when I planted it in the ground. I don't recommend keeping Musa Basjoo in a pot. Ideally you want to get it in the ground, but of course you've got to do it earlier in the year. It's a bit late now to be planting one. But if you get one planted in May or early June, it should have enough time to get to at least, hopefully, around 2 or 3 foot tall by the end of the year. And then you can give it some protection. This one is probably the 2nd year, I'd say. I think that one there is a 1st year one at the back. See that? A bit smaller. I think that was a new one this year. I think there was also this one back here. This pup back here I think was a relatively new one as well. It's grown really, really fast. That is almost, I'd say almost 4 foot tall. But again, that is probably because it's right against the wall, the brick wall. So yeah, it's doing really well. Musa Basjoo clump. It's one of my favourite plants I've got in the garden, just for the ornamental value really. Although in saying that, I do have a problem at the minute with how much shade it's casting onto the patio. Especially when the sun comes out at this time of day, as you can see in the afternoon now. It gets a lot of shade on this area behind it where I've got a lot of my citrus. So I am considering chopping, or at least removing a few of these in the future, just to keep it a little bit more in check so it doesn't take over the entire garden. But yeah, it's doing really well. I'm glad I planted it in the ground, and this is absolutely the best variety of banana you can grow in the UK. If you want to plant one in the ground and just pretty much let it do its thing. I want to also address some misinformation I've seen online about bananas. It's only really started in the last couple of years, I'd say, but I've seen a lot of people suggesting removing leaves from bananas, which supposedly gets your bananas to grow much faster. This is absolutely not true. I don't know where this rumour started, but it doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me, at least, because every leaf is providing energy to the plant. So every single leaf is going to be photosynthesizing, providing more energy for the plant to then grow. If you're removing leaves, you're just slowing it down, in my opinion. You're just removing its chances of photosynthesizing, which will slow it right down. So if your plant's got a huge column underground, it's going to be okay, and it's going to carry on pushing out leaves, and you might not notice any difference. But if your plant's young, I definitely wouldn't be removing any leaves. I only ever remove a leaf if it's completely dead, or for aesthetic reasons perhaps. Like this one here, it's not completely dead, but it's more or less dead, so I could remove that. I probably will. These ones here, for example, well, there's nothing wrong with them, they're still healthy, but they are getting in the way a little bit of this gate, so I might remove a couple of them. But I'm not bothered personally. I like to have the leaves bow down like that, and it looks quite tropical, so I'm just going to leave them. But yeah, I don't know where that information about removing leaves came from originally, but it's absolutely not true in my experience. Every single leaf will contribute to getting the plant to grow much faster, in my opinion. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this update on the Musa Basjoo. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. I'll be sure to keep you up to date with how these are getting on, and I'll definitely remember to do another update on these bananas if they actually ripen in time. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.